Okay, so before we get into my post-race analysis, I want to play for you all the clips from my reactions during the race. What was happening, I had my camera my phone set up on the side. I just press record when anything interesting happened. That's going to be what most of this video is about. It's also going to be kind of like a highlight reel of everything that happened. If you don't want to go back and watch the entire race, you can just hear me point out and talk about the main points of what's going on during the race. Okay, let's get into that. Woo! Max and Charles out on the first lap of the race. Holy crap. This might be interesting. Russell is in first though. He overtook Bottas and Bottas had a rough start. So here we go. Go Russell. Let's go George. We were halfway through the race and the top three are Russell, Bottas, and Stroll. Russell, he's leading. He's vibing. He's going all the way. P1. His tires seem to be doing fine too. He's not complaining about him. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Go George! Okay, George just said that over the radio. He said no power. They replied with HPP 35 or something. So I don't know what's going on. He said no power. I hope. Oh my goodness! No! No! Come on, George. Come on. Just keep her moving, please. He just had a fastest lap though. So apparently he's doing well. Cross my fingers. Okay, Bottas just pitted. Russell does come out ahead of Bottas after the pit stop, so smooth sailing. Keep it moving, George. That's what we're gonna say. Jack Aitken is replacing George this weekend in his Williams that George normally would drive, and George just lapped his own car. So. There was a virtual safety car that sort of spiced things up a little bit for the midfield. Lando Norris, on the McLaren side of things, he had to start in the back of the pack because he did an engine swap at the beginning of the race, and he's actually worked up to the top 10. He's kind of been vibing in like 10, 11, 12, 9. When you pit during a safety car or a virtual safety car, you save a lot of time. Usually you save 3 or 4 seconds because think about it, everyone else is going slower on the track, but the pit lane speed is the same regardless. But during a safety car, everyone is going slower, so you're saving time pitting during the safety car. So anywho, a little information for you people who maybe don't know as much about F1. Basically, Sainz lost more time than Lando did on the pit stop because he pitted when the safety car was ended. So Jack Aitken, he spun out. Oh, what is going on? Bottas just had his brakes overheated or something. They were smoking in the pits. Oh my goodness, this is such a crazy race. So much is going on. Anywho, what I was trying to say was that Jack Aitken spun out and he completely blew off his front wing because he hit it against the wall. He got lucky though. He didn't break any suspension or anything, so he's still in the race. But he had to pit, and the front wing was just laying there out in the track. So at first they just said a virtual safety car, which means there's not an actual safety car. The cars just have to slow down and not exceed a certain delta pace. The marshals couldn't find a gap to go grab the front wing, so now they've released an actual safety car to drive out to slow all the drivers down so they can go out and pick up the front wing so no driver runs over it and has a puncture in their tire or anything. But that just spiced things up. Bottas is now in P5 because of his pit incident. Russell is P1, Perez is P2, and Ocon is P3. This is interesting. So Russell has pitted as well, and because of the safety car that was released, that completely screwed up his entire race because it made him have to slow down, and he lost all the time. So he's having the same unluckiness as Bottas did. He's in P5 now, and Bottas is in P6. But the wheels are falling off the wagon for Mercedes. George can make up those positions. The left front tire of Valtteri Bottas was... Oh, it actually caught fire. This is not like Mercedes typically is. Yeah, Perez is in P1, Ocon is in P2, and Stroll is in P3. Bottas P4, Russell P5. 65 out of 87 laps. Oh my goodness. Here we go, the race is about to restart, and Perez is in P1. What's crazy about him, he doesn't have a seat next year in F1. This is bizarre to me. Right now he's P4, P5 in the Drivers' Championship. And, oh my goodness. What just happened? Lance Stroll just rear-ended Ocon? This is such a crazy race. Let's see what happens. It's restarting now. The safety car just went in. Okay, I'll update you guys when the next crazy thing happens. Okay, George Russell has just overtaken Valtteri Bottas. He snuck in there. They were weaving through the chicane area, and he just snuck right by him. A chicane, by the way, is when there's like an S in the track, where it's like they gotta weave. George Russell's in P4 now. Bottas is in P5. 16 laps left to go in this race. Let's see what happens. George Russell, oh, he's going. Overtaking Stroll. He got it. He got it. Overtook Stroll. He's in P3 now. Let's go, George. He's going. Yeah, Bottas. His tires. So when his tires lit up, they took a random tire that he's used earlier and put it back on. So their tires are like 22 laps old. It's unknown because he's got like different like ages of tires on his car. I feel bad for him. Bottas has been so unlucky this year with what happened a couple weeks ago at I don't remember what race that was. Or it was raining 24/7. I'll put it on the screen once I figure it out. George Russell has overtaken Ocon now. He's in P2. One more to go. Sergio Perez is the last person he needs to overtake. He's about 3.5 seconds behind him. Let's go, George. This is so exciting. This race is insane. This is the most fun I've had watching an F1 race the entire year. 10 laps to go in this race, and Russell is currently 2.3 seconds behind Perez. Let's go, Russell. Catch up. Bottas is now in P7. He's dropping down. He's got horrible tires. He's been overtaken by Ricciardo and Sainz. Top 3 is Perez, Russell, Ocon. We'll go 4 as well. 4 is Stroll, 5 is Sainz, 6 is Ricciardo, 7 is Albon. Albon just overtook Bottas. So 7 is Albon, 8 is Bottas, 9 is Kvyat, 10 is Gasly. That's the top 10. Norris, my favorite, my homie, he's in P11. Sainz is doing well though, so go McLaren. But 1 and 4 is Racing Point right now, so I think Racing Point is most likely going to overtake them in the Constructors' Championship. By the way, the Constructors' Championship is the team championship, so that's the teams. That's both of the drivers' points combined. The Drivers' Championships, which Lewis Hamilton has already won. Same with the Constructors' Championships. Mercedes has already won, but Lewis Hamilton has already won the Drivers' Championship. But the Drivers' Championship is all 20 drivers in their individual points alone. But the thing is, this battle for like 3rd and 4th place and 5th place, like that's millions of dollars in differences between those 3 places. Right there, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That's still a fightable battle between Racing Point, McLaren, and Renault, and I would even throw Ferrari in there. There's only 1 race left after this, and that's Abu Dhabi. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself when the F1 is out of season. 7 laps to go in this race. Here we go. As I was speaking, this video, I wasn't even paying attention. I actually had to rewind it because I saw George Russell had dropped down to P14, but he was in P2 and he had a rear left puncture in his tire, so there was a hole in it. It popped, and he had to go pit again. So he dropped all the way down to P14. Oh, he had such a good race, just luck was against him. P1 Perez, P2 Ocon, and P3 Stroll. You know, honestly, I'd love to see Perez win this race. You know, if George can't do it, I'd love to see Perez do it. That would be my second pick. This was George's chance. That just so unlucky. He'll get another chance though. I hope so. I mean, look at him. Like, you could argue, oh, he just had a way better car this time. He just has the best car. But compare him to Bottas. In terms of driving, he was way quicker. He had better decision. I guess Bottas got unlucky too, but he competed with Valtteri. Okay, so I hope he talks to Toto Wolff, the team principal of Mercedes. I hope he has a conversation with him and maybe he can move up from Williams. Now this is interesting. Now Russell has overtaken Raikkonen and Giovinazzi. He's in P12. As of right now, he will not get his maiden point. He's not going to get his first point of the season. Oh, he's in P11 now. All he needs to do is overtake Lando Norris. Come on, Lando, take one for the team, just so George can score his first point. This has been such a crazy race. It's been such a good race for Racing Point, though. P1 and P3. Perez is going faster than Ocon, so if he just keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to be P1. He'll have won this race and still doesn't have a seat for next year. I think that might change though if he can pull this off and if he has a fantastic race next week. That might be a crazy news story I cover in the off season. 2-3 laps to go. Russell does, as of right now, have the fastest lap though in P11. Russell has overtaken Pierre Gasly, same with Lando Norris, and he is now in P10. He's going to get his maiden point. He's going to get his first point of the season. Let's go. That's honestly, that's all that I asked for at the beginning of yesterday's video. Or maybe 2 days ago. It depends when this video comes out, depending on how motivated I am and how quickly I can get my homework done. But I'm just so excited about this. Maybe I'll edit this video and get it posted before I do my homework. I don't know. We'll see. Russell's in P9 now. He overtook Lando. That's 3 points for him. 1 lap to go. I'll let you guys know after the race. Sergio Perez wins the race. Esteban Ocon takes P2. Lance Stroll takes P3. Sainz in P4. 5th is Daniel Ricciardo. 6th is Alex Albon. 7th is Daniel Kvyat. 8th is Bottas. 9th is Russell. And 10th is Lando Norris. George! No, you came so unbelievably close to winning the entire race. That just broke my heart. Oh my goodness, the luck was not there today for Mercedes. George Russell and Valtteri Bottas with their unfortunate pit stop under the safety car. Bottas, his brake catching on fire, his tire catching on fire. I don't know what it was. They had to throw on old tires, and he had a very rough end to his race. They both got caught up back in P5, P6. George having his left rear tire puncture with 10, 12 laps left to go in the race. He had to pit. He was down to P14. He worked his way up. He made it to P9 though. He scored his maiden point, so that's all that I really asked for yesterday, but I also asked for a podium. But he just got unlucky. You know what though? I bet with his performance today, it was outstanding. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few years he gets a seat for Mercedes or some other big team, especially with Lewis Hamilton coming to the end of his career. Or maybe even he'll take Bottas' seat if Lewis Hamilton isn't done soon. I don't know. So much crazy stuff to go over. We found out so much new information today about George. He's a true contender. Let's talk about that lap 1 incident with Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, evidently resulting in them both out of the Grand Prix. So what happened is that Max Verstappen was sort of sandwiched. He actually backed off earlier in the corner before because he didn't want to get into a quarrel with Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez. So he backed off, braked, and then he came to the next corner. Sergio Perez was on the outside, and because he braked so much, Charles Leclerc took that opportunity to come up and overtake Max, but he was a little too ambitious. Sergio Perez came in and he didn't give Charles enough room, so he ran in and made contact with Charles, cut him off. Charles, his front suspension broke, which resulted in Max being pushed way out because Charles couldn't turn, therefore Max couldn't get around him. And Max was out on the gravel, tried to turn, had no grip, went straight into the wall. They both go into the wall, out of the race. Pure mayhem. Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, two people that were likely going to be sitting on the podium at the end of this race, out on lap 1. My, was this an eventful race. With George Russell's, we've already talked about that, his unfortunate circumstance that happened to him, Valtteri Bottas. But at the end of it, Sergio Perez wins the race, Esteban Ocon takes 2nd, Lance Stroll takes 3rd. That is a result that I think very few predicted at the end of this race. It's just bizarre. It was so eventful. It was so eventful. I do wish Lewis Hamilton a speedy recovery. Hopefully Lewis Hamilton can get back for Abu Dhabi. But man, was that an interesting race without Lewis Hamilton there to hold P1 the entire race. My heart just breaks for George. He had it. He had it in the palm of his hand, and it just fell through like oobleck or kinetic sand. I don't know. Just fell through his fingers. But he did score his maiden point, his first points in 2 years of being in F1. That is exciting. I cannot think of anything else to talk about, so peace for now. Bye-bye. Adios.